to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we are going to start tonight by opening the public hearing on the 2022-2023 budget. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion and support. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, the public hearing is now open.
All right, in your board packets later on, I'm going to be asking for approval for the budgets to finish off the 2021-2022 year, and then budgets for the 2022-2023 fiscal year for general fund, food service, and student activity funds. Tax levies for the 2022-2023 budget year. We have the 18 mills general operating purposes taxes that is customary for both Albion and Marshall community. And then for the Marshall community, they are still at the 7.05 mils for the bonded indebtedness, and the Albion properties are at 0 for bonded indebtedness for property taxes. This slide here is a historical fund balances for the Marshall Public Schools. As you can see, we're teetering around a 5.2 at the end of the 21 fiscal year. We're teetering around a $5.2 million fund balance, which is a 16% fund balance. Looking generally overview of revenues and expenditures, we are finishing off the year for the 2021-2022 at about a 13% fund balance. We were saying we're going to go about $841,000 expenditures over revenue. These are still estimated numbers. Hopefully we're going to be a little bit better off than that. And then for the 2022-2023 year, we're going to say that we're going to go about 2.1 million expenditures over revenue, which takes us down to about a 6% fund balance. The changes for 2021 to 2022 to 2022-2023 budget is a decrease in local funding. There's $239,000, and basically I don't assume any local grant dollars in our budget right off the bat. So if we get local funds in the district, I'll add those in a budget amendment later on in the year. We have about $996,000 of increase in state aid. So I'm budgeting a flat enrollment, which is 2,600 FTE. So I'm not saying we're going to get any more students, and I'm not saying we're going to get any less students. Before the pandemic, we were pretty much stable. And then the per pupil amount that I am budgeting increase is $400 per pupil. And that's a conservative number. We're looking at about $450. There's been some numbers about $500 out there, so I took the conservative route when looking at the budget and budgeting the per pupil foundation allowance. There's an increase in federal dollars for the ESSER 2 funds that are in this budget. So the ESSER 2 funds that are sitting on this budget are about 3.1. And I did not put the $9 million in the ESSER 3 in this budget. You will see that in a budget amendment as we get closer to spending those dollars down. So we will spend the ESSER 2 dollars down first, and then we will move on to the ESSER 3 dollars. And we obviously have to get some input on from the board and the community on how we're going to expend those funds. We have for teachers. We already negotiated for teachers a step in 2% on scale. So the teachers are going to be receiving a step plus 2% increase to their scale. So that's $363,000 cost to the district. We do have a wage reopener in the teacher contract. So tomorrow and the following day, I'll be negotiating with the teachers for increases on top of that 2% in steps. And then I'll come back to the board after we've negotiated with the teachers, and we go from there. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that. There's increase in salary. Obviously, there's an increase in FICA and retirement costs. The increase in FICA and retirement costs is $194,000 for those increase in steps and that 2%. And then there's about a $230,000 increase for health insurance district-wide. And then I didn't finish the slide in that one, but it's an increase in retirement costs for the district, the 451,000. So those are just general overviews of some of the ways that I did this fiscal year's budget. We have capital outlay purchases in there, $163,000 for 2 buses. We have about $35,000 in miscellaneous technology. A lot of our technology costs that we're buying are coming through the ESSER funds already as is, but this $35,000 in there is for the general fund purchases. So if we have things that we need to purchase, you know, a couple computers, microphones, things like of that nature, that's what we have in there. And then every year, each elementary building gets $2,500 for new carpets, so they can change out their carpets. School meals fund. This fund is a very healthy fund. You know, we have federal dollars rolling in here right now because of the free lunch for all. So we're looking at, we had a 25% fund balance. We're looking at a 28% and kind of staying on balance for next year. You cannot carry a fund balance higher than 3 months worth of expenses in the school meals fund. So if we have an excess fund balance, we'll be coming back to the board to ask them to approve some capital outlay purchases to update equipment and whatnot in our kitchens. And that's pretty much a general overview. If anybody has any questions, we can either go over those, we can go over those right now, so.
Just a quick one.
Okay.
What triggered the wage reopener in the teacher's contract?
When we TA'd last year, we went through it, that's how we TA'd. So they asked that we have a wage reopener.
Oh,
And we
just
typically.
across the board. Okay, that's fine.
So we did a 3-year contract, so they do have a 2% for next year, for the following year as well, but they also have the option to come back and do a wage reopener. So we just discuss wages
Okay.
within that.
Thank you, just curious.
Yep.
All right, does anyone else have any questions for superintendent at this point? We're gonna actually obviously talk about this again during the action item. All right, if there's no further comments from the superintendent, from the board, now would open the public hearing. Individuals who wish to address the Board of Education on the 2022-2023 budget only are requested to complete a public request form, comment request form, and you have 3 minutes to address the board. Dr. Bonner. Anyone like to address the board? All right. I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Support.
A motion and support to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The public hearing is now closed. We are now going to approve the agenda, and with the additions of correction in the consent item, or consent agenda, to add the Marshall High School choir trip, and then the action item finance to purchase of 2 school buses, and then correction action item to approve overnight and/or out-of-state trips, delete the high school band trip, and add the Red Hawk Traveler Spring Break 2023. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda with those changes.
Motion.
Second?
A motion and support. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, now we have public comment on agenda items only. Members of the audience may address the board for 3 minutes if they'd wish to do so. Would anybody like to address the board on agenda items? All right, we're going to move to consent agenda, minutes and personnel. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
I'll make the motion.
All right, motion and support. Anything you want to say about it? No.
Sorry.
All right, we have a motion and support to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Special presentation, Mr. Dr. Harry Bonner Senior. Just doing our business, Dr. Bonner.
Go right down there.
Yeah, to the microphone stand down there, I think. Sorry, that's a bit of ways, but.
Actually, out of the, first of all, I'm Harry Bonner. Some people call me Dr. For some reason, but I'm also known as Dr. Bonner. But some of you I know well, but this award, that's awards that we're going to give out today, I really should have, I think I will have Richard come forward, President Richard, since we're doing titles today.
Yes, sir.
When we changed and annexed with Marshall District, we started a diversity committee. Richard and I said Richard and I started a diversity committee, I think it was like 2016. And from 2016 up until now, we didn't do it last year because of COVID, we've been giving out diversity awards to those individuals who have been dedicated to helping us really move the diversity issue forward. So I don't know if Richard have any thoughts about that, but we still are in that mode of moving in diversity awards for the Marshall District, which is also includes our Albany community. So with that being said, our first award, I would like to have one of our Marshall High School students come up. He's a little bashful for some reason. He's not as bashful in the program. But well, I'll let him introduce himself. You want to just tell you who you are?
Hi, my name is Chris Gibson. I am now a senior at Marshall High School.
Yeah. And the other person that was key outside of Richard in helping us start the diversity work was my good friend Dave Turner, who was the principal at that time at Marshall Middle School, and Terry Innituk, who was assistant principal. So with that being said, the first award that we're going to give out today was going to go to, which Chris has.
Kim Robinson.
And so I think Dave's going to accept it for the Kim. And Kim receiving this award because during the year, when I'm trying to work with our students on getting the right classes and doing the kind of things they need to be doing, Kim is always willing to take the time to work with us, and is very committed to working with all students at the school. And she has been very helpful in trying to move this agenda forward. So when they say that Marshall staff don't care, I don't know who those people are. So Kim is somebody that I'm very proud to work with, and she's not here, but Dave doesn't look like her, but I guess we can, I guess he could be a substitute and see that she gets it. But anyway, Dave, anything you want to say on behalf of Kim and the work she's done?
I did talk with Kim earlier this morning, and she's really excited to receive this award. Looks forward to doing bigger and better things for the Albion and Marshall communities, and working with all students to make Marshall Public Schools and Marshall High School the best school that it can be. So, Harry, thank you so much. We really appreciate this recognition. This is everything that you do for our students and for our community it's well received. Thank you.
I would like to just say, I guess thank you to all the counselors and all the staff at the high school, and again, very deserving of this award. And again, thank you, Dr. Bonner, for these recognitions. They're much appreciated.
I'm a little biased, but I think Marshall is one of the top school districts in our area. I believe that when we did annexation. I still believe that. And we're going to prove that one way or the other. So with that being said, again, congratulations to Kim. Our next award will go to a young lady that I saw just come in, Ebony. Ebony, do you want to come forward, please? I don't know if anybody here from the middle school administration, but Ebony is one of those people, again, in my work, it's very important to have somebody in the school district that you can call, contact to help us keep track of our students and to work towards helping us keep our students on track. And Ebony is one of those kind of individuals. I think, I don't know what kind of job promotion that I would advocate for her, but anything that's going to encourage. She's also a parent and has, I don't know how many children in the school district. She has 5 school children, okay, in our district. So again, I would encourage us to continue advancing equity, diversity, and inclusion throughout the educational program, athletic programs in the Marshall Middle School. So that being said, Ebony gets 2 awards because last time we misspelled her name, and so. Exactly. So, but anyway, so she has 2 awards coming to her.
Thank
And
you, I appreciate it.
anything you want to say on behalf of the middle school?
No, I just appreciate everyone here. I appreciate both communities. I appreciate the school district. And this year, I look forward to being a mentor. And anything else I can do, let me check my hat collection. I got a lot. Thank you, Mr. Bonner.
Thank you, baby. Thank you.
Thank you.
The idea of advancing the mentoring program. Sometimes students don't have parents for different reasons who can parent their children. So the mentoring program, I think, is a very important program. And I just saw our elementary principal come in, Gail Rogers. You want to raise your hand there, Gail? And Gail is in charge of working with us on a mentoring program with Albion College. To help continue the idea of mentoring. So that's a big important movement for us. And then Maurice is going to give the last 2.
The next award goes to Becky Jones, Superintendent.
I just want to say thank you for this, and I feel honored to be able to serve in both the Marshall and Albion communities in the capacity that I do. And I love both communities, and I love all our kids, and I'm excited to get to work. So.
And the last award goes to Amanda Lankert. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Is she in the building? Okay. All right, Richard will be accepting on her behalf. Any words?
I will just say that again, this is really enjoy having the opportunity to do this. This journey over the last 6 or 7 or 8 years has been incredible. Congratulations to all the winners. I want to say my mother was a school secretary. You're never not a school secretary, but we know who runs the school, right? So congratulations to everybody. And again, thanks Harry, for doing this. We appreciate it very much.
So in closing, I just want to say, and I see Marilyn has walked in, and we will be honoring other staff as we go through next year and so forth, and as we see our community and our schools undergo the challenges they face. I also chair the Albion Community Leadership Council, who has stated that we are very much supportive of the Marshall District as a whole. That includes staff, janitors, teachers, students from both communities. And we started this journey, I don't know, 2016, 2012, but I never started a journey that I didn't try to finish. So with that being said, thank you, and we look forward to continue to work with you guys. Bye-bye.
All right, and again, thank you very much, Dr. Bonner, for those special presentations. Next on the agenda is item 8, which is report of the superintendent, special recognition, and new hires. Becky.
We have 5 new hires. First is Sarah Burtis. She fills the position of English teacher at Marshall High School. Ms. Burtis attended Western Michigan University, where she earned a bachelor's degree with a major in history and a minor in English. Matthew Clausen. Matthew Clausen fills the position of the 4th grade teacher at Harrington Elementary. Mr. Clausen attended Olivet College, where he earned a bachelor's degree with a major in health, recreation, and dance, and a minor in English. Jennifer Emmons. Jennifer Emmons fills the position of math teacher at Marshall Middle School. Ms. Emmons attended Central Michigan University, where she earned a bachelor's degree with a triple minor in early childhood development, language arts, and math. Joel Jolink. Joel Jolink fills the position of assistant principal at Marshall Middle School. Mr. Jolink attended Olivet College, where he earned a bachelor's degree with a focus in elementary education. He earned his master's degree in educational leadership from Western Michigan University. Mr. Jolink has been employed as a teacher with the district for the last 14 years. Matthew Siebert fills the position of assistant principal at Marshall High School. Mr. Siebert has been with the district for 9 years and has been the middle school assistant principal since the 2019-20 school year. Prior to his administrative role, he taught science at the high school. Welcome to all the new employees.
All right, next on the agenda is item 9A, Student Reinstatement Committee.
All right, in your packet, we need 2 board members to serve on the Student Reinstatement Committee for some students that were expelled. Do I have any volunteers of board members? Joe and Mark?
I can do it, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you both.
thank you.
All right, and next we have, anything else with that?
Nope.
All right, next we have Deborah L. Macon, MBA consultant, is back with us, and she is going to go over our strategic plan. We have been working on this for a little over a year, had a very good meeting, and got some public input a couple months ago, and this is the final, I guess, iteration of this, and she's going to take us through it. So, Deb, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. First, I must begin by saying what an opportunity and what an honor it has been to be your guest in the district for the amount of time that this board and this administrative team, thank you so much, have been working on the strategic plan. There is a presentation. So Ian, does it come up automatically or do you have to pull it up? Oh, thank you. Let me do just a very short introduction for those of you I've not yet had an opportunity to meet. I work for the Michigan Association of School Boards, and we are the professional association for school boards in Michigan. And the metaphor that I use is that I'm confident that everyone here is part of at least one organization in your work that supports the work you do, that moves it forward. Well, we are the organization that does that for elected and appointed school board members. So if I could, Mr. Chair, walk everyone through the packet. There is a robust packet of information, and it's just a delight to be able to share this. Of course, as school board members have questions, let me know, because this is the result of your work. Can each of you hear me well enough? All right, excellent, thank you. This is really an impressive journey. And the introduction letter, we do frame this as it comes from the school board president and the superintendent. And it serves as an introduction to what everyone is about to see. This is the fine work of the governance team moving the mission, vision, goals, and beliefs of this district forward. Now, there's a lot of print here, and by the way, all of the files that the presentation that I'm sharing is already available as a file in the superintendent's office, and it is public information, so that if anyone wanted to see more, I'm confident that it's just a request away. I will not be reading all of this to you, and there is one paragraph that stands out. There is one. So for those of you that have a copy, please let me draw your attention to the very last paragraph on that page. Prior to beginning the strategic plan process, the governance team, school board, and superintendent engaged in professional development focused on effective governance, concentrating on learning their specific roles and responsibilities. As part of the strategic planning process, the vision, mission statement, and belief statements were developed. Based on qualitative and quantitative data, a new vision, mission, and belief statements, strategic goals were developed. Recommended strategic objectives were identified and prioritized. This last sentence is worth its weight in gold, and all of you board members, I'm going to ask you to highlight it in some way. Regular monitoring of progress and renewal is critical to the plan's success. For the community to know that this process is the one that had the governance team craft a roadmap to the Marshall District's future. And as I go through the rest of this report, you'll see what that means. It all began with a very specific calendar. And in this calendar, in this calendar, while it says that it began in April of 2021, that's when the Michigan Association of School Boards walked in. This board had been discussing, thinking about creating its strategic plan months and months before April 2021. And a robust conversation was actually the month before in March. And while I was not here to witness that, I did see the entire presentation online. So you can see the robust level of inquiry and the questions that board members raised to be able to frame the process. In creating that roadmap, it's our responsibility, and I served as the consultant on the ground. There is a team of 3 of us. The board met Debbie Stair, who is the Director of Leadership Development, when she made the presentation in April, and the board approved and set out the terms of the process. I had an opportunity to be part of the board's work beginning in January of 2022, and that's when the board held its governance workshop, where the question was asked, what is effective governance moving forward, and what do the members of the school board need to know and need to do to make all of this successful? So when you see that note there that says data collection and stakeholder input, this board said, we don't want to hear from some of the community, we want to hear from the entire community. So a process was developed that made a way, and I can't wait for you to see what that number of responses is. The data collection fed into hosting a full-day strategic planning retreat, followed by an implementation workshop of staff, and I'll explain all of these in more detail later, and that brings us to where things are today. The presentation of the final mission, vision, beliefs, and goals to the Board of Education for approval. So the very formal process took 15 months, and that's fairly typical. So when defining what stakeholder input is all about, here is what we wanted to ask any individual who would be willing to take the time and follow up. What values and what are the perceptions in the community of the district? And everyone was asked 4 specific questions. What are strengths? of the entire district as a whole? What are areas of improvement? Are there any barriers to implementation? And if you could shape the vision on your own, what would that be? Here is the team who participated in that process. These are the members of the strategic planning team. Mr. Chair, do I have your permission to ask anyone here who was in the room when this plan was developed to please give a wave so we can see who you are? All of you at the board table. Who else? So everyone can look around and see who participated. 35. Thank you so much. One of the questions that I loved asking was there someone here that you had never had a conversation with? And everyone in the room raised their hand. Everyone in the room. This